Welcome back to Attic to Basement Estate Cleanouts with Raccoons, and this week with monkey vests and military items. The first house I want to talk about was built in 1969 and was worth $433,000 in 2007, when one helper and I worked 42 hours clearing out the house in Bethesda, Maryland. Stringed musical instruments seem to be popular anytime, so here are a few that were in that house. Also, there was a nice treadle sewing machine. People buy the wrought iron sewing machine stands to put their plants on since the wrought iron is so pretty. Or maybe they're just trying to fool people that they are using it to sew. I also have a photo of a chest of drawers with round knobs. I think I've already shown a photo of a similar chest from another house before this, but this is to prove that they were popular back in the 1940s. The next job was in Washington, D.C. on Wisconsin Avenue. Two helpers and I worked 18 hours to empty out a small apartment, which had nice dishes and vintage clothing. Here are two photos of the most interesting pieces. A vest made of monkey fur, which I don't think you could do anymore, and a dress with feathers on the cuffs. These pieces, along with others, went to Polly Sue's vintage clothing shop in Tacoma Park, Maryland. I charged the client a flat fee to deliver the clothes to the shop. I would bring the items to the shop on hangers, if they could go on hangers, and in bags and boxes for the gloves, handkerchiefs, scarves, purses, hats. Once I got there and brought everything in from my car, we would pull out each item, and in between customers paying for their purchases at the cash register, would discuss how much it was worth. And I would either agree or disagree with the price she set. When I finished showing her all that I had brought, she would write a check made out to the client, which I would then mail to the executor at the end of the job with my invoice. Sometimes I brought items for 3 or 4 clients on one trip. I would be there 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how much I brought and how busy the shop was at the time. One job was just 2 miles from my house. What a nice change to be 10 minutes away from work. That rarely happened. The house was built in 1960 and it was a 1,300 square foot rambler. The man had died 2 years earlier and everything had stayed in the house since then. If the criminals only knew it was full of guns, tools, knives of all kinds that he sold at flea markets, they would have had a field day. The lawyer decided to take away all the guns the first day I started working on the job. Because the refrigerator had food in it for 2 years, it was full of maggots. That was the morning a friend of my helper started working for me. When she saw what condition the refrigerator was in that my regular helper was cleaning out, at lunchtime she left and didn't come back. As I've said before, this job is not for everyone. Even my regular helper was not happy about that refrigerator. I found out later that we could have tied it shut and the junk hauler would have taken it to the dump like that. Since the junk hauler could take it out of the house in less than a minute to his truck that was backed up to the back door, it was easy work for them. And I'm sorry I had my worker empty it. We worked a total of 42 hours over 6 half days at that house, and the auction company was very happy to sell all the tools and knives. And finally, I want to tell you about Gaithersburg, Maryland, 3-level townhouse that was full of military items. The man was 70 years old when he died. I don't think he ever married. He had more military equipment that he could fit in the house, so he also had 4 storage units. Although, to be fair, 2 of those storage units were filled with nice furniture. The lower level of the townhouse was set up with shelves like a warehouse for the military. I heard he had a woman selling items on eBay for him from one of the storage units, but that stopped once he died in 2009. Before I got involved, the attorney for the estate had contacted the Military History Institute in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It may have been a condition of the will. My 3 helpers and I spent 8 days working on preliminarily sorting the items in the house and taking out any non-military items that could go to charity so that the museum could come in and pick out what they wanted to take back to Pennsylvania. 4 employees came one day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., inventorying, photographing, and packing what they could use. Uniforms, mess kits, boots, duffel bags, cots, and foot lockers from the Spanish-American War through the Vietnam War. The museum didn't take some of the items because they had enough of that type of item already, so the rest went to Associated Auctioneers in Howard County, along with train and science fiction magazines, comics, Apollo 13 memorabilia, and a Starship Trooper model. I had 63 clients in 2009, and he was definitely one of the most interesting. I'm also including a list of what the Military History Institute was looking for in 2009. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching Attic to Basement Estate Cleanouts with Raccoons. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll be notified the next time I come out with a new one in a few days. I also have a Facebook page under 800 Houses, 800 Jobs, and a Pinterest page of the same name.